it.
All right.
Got it. Okay, perfect.
Maya, thank you very much for sharing what to me sounds really weird and strange, the idea of mint soup. Now, one thing I didn't ask you is my idea of mint usually is something either sweet or something cool. So is this a hot soup?
It's a hot soup.
Okay, so, and you said it's just called cheese soup. I'm sure it has a different name in Georgia.
Has a name. It probably has a name, yes. Actually, no, well, that's what my mom calls it.
So, and we're talking about the country of Georgia, because in the US, of course, we have a state. I got the smallest container. Well, I guess the smallest container of feta cheese, because here at the International Grocery Store, they sell feta cheese in like big, like 2 kilo blocks. So this right here is, it says 1.5 kilos. So 3.3 pounds. That was my smallest. But you can see I did eat 2 slices out of it for salad. And what I did is I just took the lid off of it and I flipped it upside down in the fridge on a plate. And then I would just drain that. And so it's really, really dry. I was considering putting it in my dehydrator, but I didn't know what temperature to put it in the dehydrator.
If it's dry, it's okay. And yes, if it's wet, it's gonna kind of melt into the soup. That's fine too. It's gonna be there for taste, but it's not gonna be there for texture. However,
and then I considered, I was able to buy this Indian cheese. It's called paneer, and it is like a feta, but a little denser. And I haven't opened the package, but I think it's pretty dry. And I've seen that in. It's
up to you. Pick whatever you
like. I'm gonna make it with the feta, like you said. But I thought maybe if people have, like, paneer is not salted. Feta is very salted. Here.
Salty is okay because I made the soup just for it, just to test it.
Oh, this is actually from Greece.
I added salt. The one I buy is, I believe, from Greece as well.
I mean, real feta cheese is made from sheep's milk. And then this particular one is actually from Greece.
Is it sheep or cow?
That one. Sheep.
This is the one I got. It's both.
Show it on the other camera.
Cow and, okay. This is cow and goat.
Wow, that's a big container too.
This is This is a 3 kilos. We eat a lot of feta cheese in my house.
You must, yeah.
So, all right. And I was not easy to find a place to buy mint, but luckily the community garden had a big patch because mint itself actually grows really well.
Yeah, it's invasive. It'll take over the garden.
But for some reason this year, my mint patch did not go wild like it usually does in the past. And I couldn't see any. So it's like somehow killed itself off. And then I've got a couple good farm eggs. Are
you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's cut up. So I'm cutting up the cheese into cubes.
I'm glad you said cutting up, because in the United States, when you say cut the cheese, it means to make bad smelling stuff come from your rear end.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Cut the cheese.
So not too big, not too small. So if your cheese is dry, it can take smaller pieces. If it's not so dry, it's probably best keep them a little larger so you get some texture of it.
So I actually got the scale out. I bought the scale for baking, and honestly, I primarily use this for mailing stuff. But
Me too. That's what I use mine for.
So I thought I would actually like weigh how much cheese, but I mean, can you put too much in?
If it's
Oh,
too
wait.
much, you just add water.
You got to use the tear button when you put it something
Well, I need to
on
change it to grams too.
Oh, yeah.
And then need to set
You
it
cannot
to
put
0.
too much in, or
Okay, well then I won't even weigh it. But let's see.
yeah.
So 500 grams. I mean, that right there is 560 grams. So it's a pretty big chunk.
That's a lot. Actually, maybe my pot here is maybe too small for it. The next size up I have is giant.
So are we just making big cubes?
Yes, big cube.
Okay. Because if I made too small of cubes, it'd probably just disintegrate.
That's right. So this soup is made from sun-dried cheese, okay? But you cannot find, well, I couldn't find it anywhere here. And that cheese is dry. You cannot eat it just dry. You have to make it into soup.
So I'm going to save one section here. I didn't have time.
And try to dry it.
And I'm going to, like, if we can find what temperature to dry cheese at. Like how long and what temperature. I've got one of those digital dehydrators. I've been dehydrating a lot of sun-dried tomatoes. Like this right here, this container. This right here is 10 pounds of tomatoes dehydrated. It's just like, but they're just
wow.
Like
it just disappears.
I mean, it's just an awesome sun-dried tomato slice. It just smells like fresh, just like you like bite into it.
How long did it take you to get to that?
18 hours at 141 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
And I looked it up. The temperature, the time, I tried different times, and it has to do with how juicy it is. But they said if it was hotter temperature than that, it would cook it. And if it was lower temperature, it would just go mushy.
Do you need to put it in some olive oil or something to preserve
No,
it?
I didn't. I just cut it. The one
No,
thing I did
I'm saying
do,
now to store it now.
oh no.
That's what I
I
was
store it in the
suggesting.
fridge.
I do have
before.
little packages of Dissident, which absorbs the moisture. Otherwise, this right here, I'm going to grind into my spice blend. But if I stored it for a long time, I put a little cloth bag of rice to absorb the moisture. So, all right. Sorry, Maya.
That's all right. So are you all, did you?
I have cut
cube
cheese.
your
I'm by
cheese?
myself, so you don't know what kind of cheese. So,
Okay.
so
Okay,
I guess,
so put it in a pot and fill up with water.
so should I,
turn the,
so you're saying put the cheese in the pot and then heat the, won't it turn mushy quicker that way? So,
I put cold water and cheese at the same time, and then
Okay.
you start boiling, heating it up.
all right. So I probably need to fill this whole pot, but that's a lot of cheese.
Yeah. Mine is probably too small for that many cheese,
All right.
but it's just gonna be.
And
you
what
can always
temperature
add
do you
water.
think?
I would boil it first, and then as soon as you see it boiling, then turn it down a bit.
All right. But with the cheese, don't add the cheese later. All right. So you already got yours started?
Yes, it started.
All right. So
While that's happening,
I got a little bit of crumbles of cheese here, so I need to clean that up.
it could go in the soup.
So yeah, I mean, like the sheep's feta, definitely has a more poignant taste to it. So, but I have had like Arabic feta cheese that's made from cow's milk, but I think it uses a different bacteria because it's still pretty poignant. So, all right, what else are we measuring?
I have
Ooh.
2 tablespoons of, okay, this is the corn meal that I bought.
All right, so that's isn't that more like corn flour? So I've got the corn
It's
meal, but I've also got corn
I think it's
flour.
cornmeal. Flour is too fine.
Okay,
This one it's a bit.
but you're just doing 2 tablespoons, not very much.
I'm doing 2 tablespoons.
All right.
So if you have more water than I do, you could do more. So this is just to give the soup a little bit of a texture, just to thicken it
All
up
right.
a bit. So
And I've been so excited. I found a local farmer that grows some fresh corn, and
Wow.
I've been making a lot of polenta in the mornings, but in the winter, I don't eat much corn in the summer.
oh, don't put it in the soup. Oh, you
Ah,
already did.
crap.
It's okay. Mix it and see if it. No. It's okay. Mix it. I was gonna mix it with the water in a separate dish so that it just.
Yeah, it disappeared.
Right. Okay. Good.
Stir it up good so it doesn't get lumps and stuff.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
completely gone. It was only 4 tablespoons, and this is a big pot.
Right. Okay.
So
I'm gonna do
So
the
what am I
same,
supposed to
but
use to
in the container.
Okay, put it in a
See?
little bowl.
I put it in a little bowl and I take regular cold water and mix it and then pour it into the soup. Just so you don't
Okay.
get any lumps.
So I grew up, we would make corn dumplings that we put in soup. Basically, we'd mix corn like this and water and then make little like balls, and then you drop them in the soup.
Uh-huh. I've had something like that too.
It's kind of a Native American. And then, oh, and we put beans in it. So you just did the water with
in the soup or
in the corn balls.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you
that
know
actually sounds good.
that kidney beans, if not cooked properly, are actually poisonous?
Uh-oh.
I just learned that. The proper way to cook kidney beans is to, let's see, soak them for 24 hours, pour off the water, and then boil them for at least 10 minutes.
Wow.
And if you don't do that, it will give you lots of indigestion and gas, and it can be really, really bad because it's actually poisonous.
I think you need to cook it even longer.
Well, that's just a minimum. Now this cornmeal, I just mixed with the cold water in the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I want to put some eggs in there and make my corn.
No. Eggs are not coming yet.
Have you ever come across a recipe that it just says you need a tad of spice or a smidgen or a pinch or a dash? Someone just gave me these little stainless steel, and it literally says
oh
a
my
tad,
gosh,
smidgen,
That's cool.
a pinch, a dash, and they're slightly
cool.
different amounts. Just like
It's really
that is
cool.
cool.
Because let's see, the biggest one is a tad, and it is, if I get a little of this cornmeal, it is less than 1/8 of a teaspoon.
When people say those words, though, it means different amount.
I know.
For everybody.
I think it's kind of just a joke, but these are like really
Yeah.
quality stainless steel.
Nice.
You know, I don't think I've ever used them. but it came with my
It's
my
kind of
regular
like a
ones.
joke.
So, all right. I guess what are you doing?
I'm still mixing my corn.
Okay.
Mine didn't disappear as easily as yours did. I have to.
I don't feel
Okay,
like
now
mine's
it's
really
kind of smooth.
disappearing. See, I mean, it's just
You don't have
water.
lumps. You don't have round lumps, right?
Well, mine is kind of a thick corn.
Okay.
You're not gonna add more
Alright.
corn, are you? Or,
No, I wasn't planning on it.
I was worried, I saw you hovering over the pan.
But this is like rough ground that I use for polenta. And then medium ground is more like a grits in the South. Actually, grits are a different thing entirely. Grits are when you get corn, you put lime in it, and when you boil it, it kind of pops in your boiling water, and then you grind it. That's what grits is. So, all right. Cheese is boiling. I by mistake put a little
Is it
cornmeal in
boiling?
there. Well, it's working on it.
Okay, good.
I have the cornmeal in a bowl. So do I dump that in there now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So that needs to be boiling as well.
So the
Make
only
sure
reason
it's
you
not-
did it in the bowl instead of like I did in the pot is the idea so you don't have any clumps.
You're gonna have
That's right.
twice as much in there now, or you already added corn.
Oh, I know, but it's just to thicken it.
If you feel like it's too thick or you kind of changing it too much, then you can add more water. You can afford it. You have a lot of cheese in there.
So right now, I mean, this
So
is
mix it
I think a
occasionally.
4-quart, and I put 600 about 600 grams of cheese in there. Well, let's see, in pounds, I put probably about 2.5. No, drained. I probably put about 2 pounds of cheese in there because I saved a little bit. I'm going to dry it. All right. I probably could start stripping these mints off, huh? Because you're just going to
So
put the
make sure
leaves in? Or
we're
how?
gonna cut it up. We're gonna cut
The stems and all?
No, just the leaves.
So I should strip it off these stems then.
That's right.
All right.
Just when it boils, you can turn the temperature down.
I guess it'd help if I put the lid on it. They say a
Right.
watch pot doesn't boil, so if the lid's off, I think that's what that metaphor actually means, right?
Yes,
Put the lid on it. So
I think so.
one thing I learned about when you strip the things off the stem is
Mhm.
I always want to go from the small side down, but it's better to go from the big side when you're stripping
I
things.
pick them one by one.
Oh yeah? I just do too much herbs, I guess. Like I just did a pound of it for my spice blend the other day. A pound of dried. That was a lot.
If you like, you can save your top.
Oh yeah,
What do you call this? The top part.
the
just
little.
to garnish it afterwards.
Oh, good idea. Yeah, there's one
Just
like
a tiny
little.
bit.
I always
Yeah.
forget to make things look pretty. Oh, this one's even got like a little flower on it. So, oh man, that smells really good.
That smells so
So-
good.
So now I'm just gonna fine chop all this mint.
Yes, I chopped them into thin slices. Just again. like
Thin
a tasty
slices?
piece, but thin
So you don't just
ribbons.
rough chop it?
No.
Oh man, that sounds like you individually pick the mints off and then you do thin slices?
Well, don't judge me. My soup is still boiling, okay?
No, I'm just saying that's a lot of work. I'm not judging you. I'm in awe.
I'm
I
joking.
say finely
I'm
chopped.
joking. No, what you're doing is fine. It's gonna taste the same.
I mean, if you really wanted to do it, you get the mortar and pestle out and you muddle it, right?
Oh, that would probably give you more of the flavor.
Or if you have one of those little teeny food processors, which I almost never use.
You know what? I don't think that's a good idea. That might be too much flavor, and it's gonna change the color of the soup.
Yeah, see, I mean, I got this mini little food processor. It's got the little blades in it.
I got one just
What
like
do you
that.
think?
Works cool.
I especially like if I want a small bit of nuts, I like to use it, but I honestly almost rarely use it because if it's a small amount, I just get the knife out and chop it.
Sometimes I use it to do chimichurri.
I did what Lulu told me to do. I put them in water, and I had paper
Lulu
towel
is
on top
here.
of it, and it was in the fridge, and it works.
For what? Oh,
Kept
for
it
your
fresh.
herbs to keep them good for a long
For
time.
the- Yes, that's right.
Where you just cut off the tip of the stem
They were just
and then you wrap
Yeah.
it in a wet paper towel.
No, I put it in water, just like this, and the paper towel and plastic bag goes on top of the.
Oh, on over the top of it. Wonder if
over
I-
the leaves. Yeah.
I bet I could save these stems and make myself a little cup of mint tea. I'm gonna try that. While I'm here, I got my
Oh yes.
teapot. I mean,
Do
since
that
I'm already
for
making
sure.
the whole place up, it's boiling. So turn it down because I don't
It's
want the,
boiling. Yeah. Turn it down and mix it occasionally.
I don't want
Stir
the
it.
cheese to break apart. If it boils too vigorously, I think that cheese
It
would all break.
probably will anyway, since it's not dried cheese. Even though mine has been in paper towels for.
All right, let me make some
About a
tea
week.
back here. Since I'm already heating up my little house. I dream of having one of those kitchens with the hot air vent to suck the hot air out.
Hmm.
My little 300 square foot house doesn't have that yet.
Oh, I never use it because it's too loud and frustrates me.
Too loud.
I'm just getting a new vent over a hood over my stove.
So,
It's
all right,
probably gonna be
Maya,
more
I don't
quiet
see you
than-
on the,
Oh, you see my pot though, right? It's
Yeah,
boiling.
Pot's boiling.
so mine is slow simmering now. I've got my mint
Mhm.
chopped. A little bit
So-
of cornmeal in there.
That's right. The water has gone almost opaque all the way.
Yep.
So now if you see some fat floating on top, that's good. If you don't, you can go ahead and plop some butter in there or ghee.
So just any kind of fat.
Not oil, ghee or
Okay.
butter.
So don't flop my belly into it. My belly's.
Sorry I'm late, you guys. Can you recap what you did? Because I was at the
Hey,
grocery
Lulu.
store as always.
Yes.
Hi, Lulu.
Hi.
Actually,
Hi,
it's so,
Lulu.
yes, or you want to do it or do you want me
Okay.
to say it?
Go for it. You sound more smart.
Thank you. So all we did was cubed the cheese, put them in the pot, put some cold water or lukewarm is fine, I guess, and start boiling it. Once it boils, turn down the heat. That's where we're at right now. Oh,
and
no,
cornmeal.
sorry. Cornmeal.
Okay, so I'm going to catch up with you real quick.
Yes.
so-
So
And so
we
am I
mix-
just putting enough water to cover the cheese?
a bit more,
Okay. Like,
maybe twice as much at least.
okay, great.
And yeah, as soon as it starts boiling,
and then
turn it down
You
low.
mix. Right, so you can put your cornmeal in as well before it starts boiling, but mix your cornmeal separately so that it doesn't have any lumps.
Question with the eggs, am I going to put them in whole or should I scramble them before?
Scramble it, and we're gonna pour it in and then slowly mix it. So we want egg bits in it.
Okay,
But
Well,
that's at the end. That's after we turn it off. We don't do it yet.
all right. I just wanted to know if I needed to scramble them or like,
Yes.
because I've done egg drop soup where you plop the whole egg in there, you let it cook for a little while, then you crack the yolk in the soup.
Actually, you could do that, but we want some smaller egg pieces swimming in there.
So I am intrigued by what this is going to taste like. I just do not think of mint as. That's not true. Actually, I've had. I don't know.
Mint is just, yeah, it's for like sweet stuff and drinks and yeah.
But all right. Let's see what we got.
And Lulu, once you get your pot boiling, you can cut up your mint, chop it up as you like it, and that's it.
So after it's boiling, I add, I saw you put ghee in, or butter, I guess.
Right. So if your cheese doesn't have fat floating on top of it, it probably won't be as tasty. So put some ghee or butter in.
Okay.
Mine has some yellow on it on top, so I think it's fine.
And that only happens after it starts to get really warm?
Yes. So once it's boiling, you can turn the temperature down.
So I bought already crumbled feta, that's okay?
Yes, but it's going to disappear into your soup, so you won't have it in terms of texture, but the taste is going to be there.
So Lulu, traditionally, I was told that they use sun-dried feta. So they actually get the feta, dry it. Now, do you cut it up in cubes before you dry it?
They're
When it's-
bigger cubes. Yes, they're bigger cubes, but they're completely dry. So you cannot eat it, but after it boils in the soup, it becomes like a chewy texture.
So we
This
need to
is gonna
figure
have a
out what
little bit of
temperature. I would say probably, I mean, I can't imagine if it's out under the sun, I can't imagine it being more than like 105 or 110 degrees.
Yeah, I think regular dehydrators probably.
So
Yeah.
the cornmeal goes in after it comes to a simmer.
No,
It can go in before.
So put it in before it boils, or,
Right,
And-
yes.
and how
and
much?
she had me get the cornmeal in a separate bowl and mix it with cold water so there's no lumps before you put it in.
And how much cornmeal?
I did 2 tablespoons.
I did 4. I guess it's how thick you want the soup, right?
Yes, how thick is yours? No, that looks good.
And then what grit or what grain of cornmeal? Because there was fine, medium, and coarse.
So like,
Medium.
yeah, medium.
Fine would be regular. If fine is a regular flour,
Yeah,
then medium.
okay.
So I would say, yeah. Like fine would be flour, meal would be medium, and then polenta would be rough.
That's right. We make
That'd be-
something with that too, actually.
Um,
That's a whole other story.
All right.
Oh my gosh, this looks so good.
So I just put the stems back here and I'm just making a little mint tea. All right, that
That's a
boiled.
good idea.
Oh, I think I want to add some honey to it.
Okay,
Honey.
so I've got the cheese, the water, and
Why were you surprised when I said honey?
No, I thought you were talking about the soup. Go ahead, Lulu.
so I have the cheese, the water, the cornmeal. Anything else going now?
No, that's it. And then we put in mint after I don't know, maybe like 5 minutes of boiling or simmering.
Boy, this is simple.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't have much fat in the cheese, you add a little fat.
Right.
Okay.
And also, or you can taste yours already and see if you have enough salt.
My
Because,
feta was very salty. Now, one thing is
So-
I do want to make sure the cornmeal, because my cornmeal was kind of rough. I've been
Yes,
checking
that's right.
to see
Taste that too.
how that it's cooked.
That's right.
Because if it's medium, you hardly
If
have
yours
to.
is coarse, it would need a little bit more time. You're right.
Oh my goodness, that tastes so good, and don't even have the mint in it yet.
So good. Mine actually does need some salt.
All right.
So
So put all the mint in it.
yes.
Now, how much mint does it? Because mint, the longer it cooks, the weaker it is, right? So you don't want to cook it very long.
Right. So you know what? Even if you put not enough, you're gonna have enough. It's very flavorful. You'll be fine.
Well, I have lots of mint. That's why I was asking. But
Yes. So it's still let it simmer for like a minute and then turn it up and then the egg goes in. So we do want some flavor to it, we want the mint to get in there.
So repeat the thing about the egg.
So the egg goes in after we turn it off.
Okay.
So we put in mint, keep simmering for about a minute or two, and then we turn it off and then the egg goes in.
and how often did you make this, or what is it for a special occasion, or what?
It's not a special occasion thing, but it's mostly a winter.
Is it like a
soup.
breakfast thing? Is it with other things? When do you serve it, or why?
Breakfast, lunch? It's definitely not like a celebration table thing.
So do you serve it
Just regular.
with rice,
own.
with
No,
bread?
you eat this on
with-
its own, or you bake little cornmeal patties. We bake those without oil or anything in the oven. That goes very well with this.
So I could make some like cornmeal balls and put them in there like dumplings. That wouldn't be traditional for you, but it would make it uniquely Native American for me.
Yes, or just flatten it and bake it.
Oh, so like
And
little
don't put it in
arepas,
it.
you just
Eat
make
it on
like
the
little.
side.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is not how I visualized it. I visualized it as a clear soup with chunks of cheese in it, and this is like a really creamy, rich.
It's opaque, yes.
So
This
All
smells
right.
so good. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna cover it for about a minute.
all right,
And that's it.
I'll copy you for a minute.
The fire turned off now?
No, it's
not
just
yet.
low simmering.
Any salt or pepper in there?
Yes, you would have to taste it and see. No pepper, no. But for
But
salt,
like
taste it
my
and
feta
see.
is very salty, so I didn't put much, but hers didn't have much salt in it, so she added.
Right. I added more water, so I guess mine is less concentrated, you could say.
And I think I put a lot more cheese than you did.
Right, yes.
So
So it's like almost done once it comes to a simmer and I add the mint? Or how long do you cook it with the cheese and the water and the cornmeal?
So if your cornmeal is medium, it doesn't need much.
it's basically until the cornmeal is cooked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you could do this pretty.
I would say 5 minutes.
If you had everything cut up ahead of time, you could probably cook this whole thing in under 10 minutes.
Yes.
And then we do the egg drop. All right, I got it shut off. I don't know if I bragged about my pot. It's got this pot holder, like you can just put it. But I've been
Nice.
moving it out of the way for the cooking show. So
Mine doesn't work. Oh, it works this way.
you
You hear it? No, it doesn't.
all right, so you said you can either scramble the eggs or do it like I do with my egg drop, which is pour the whole thing in. I
Yeah.
let it cook just a little bit, and then I break the yolk.
Is it a one piece or does it break up?
Right now it's one piece. And then I let it cook a little bit, and then I break the yolk to make it cook.
Right, but break it up so it goes throughout the piece and you don't have just one piece of egg, which actually you could do that too. But we do want some egg pieces.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't crack it and you were feeding more than one person would get this whole big egg yolk and another person wouldn't get any. That wouldn't be fair.
Exactly.
So
I'll do 2 eggs as well.
So really the only thing we were unable to do is the fact that you would get a special kind of sun-dried feta cheese. And
Yes.
therefore the cheese itself doesn't break out so much and it's more like a chunk and chewy.
That's right. So for
Okay.
that, you need to boil it a lot longer so that all the fat and taste comes out into the water.
So basically boil it so the cheese rehydrates.
That's right. It needs a lot longer. This, however, no, because my cheese is almost broken up.
All right,
So
I'm a weakling. I'm tasting it already.
did you do the egg thing?
Yep.
Okay.
I shut it off. So it's very rich. I thought it would taste more like cheese. It's very interesting because I don't have like a mint taste or a cheese taste. It's just good. It all blends together. And the cornmeal gives it a little bit of texture. I could see this being a really nice, like you said, winter.
That's
but
right.
not a really cold winter. Well, you could do that, but it's not like.
Well, they dry the cheese during the summer, and then you can keep that dried cheese without a fridge for as long as you like. So then you can have that throughout the winter. And mint, we're using fresh mint, but if it's dried mint, that's fine too, because it does rehydrate and the flavors come out just as fine.
That's interesting. So yeah, you could preserve all this stuff and then have it saved for winter.
Oh, it smells so good.
All right. That's it. So how would you think you would describe this, the flavor?
It's a rich, to me, it is cheese. It does taste like feta cheese, but it's mint, definitely. But
I mean, because it's got the mint in it,
texture, that's the contrast that I love.
It's like rich but fresh at the same time.
Yes. And
so it kind of, to me, is like a lot of French food. You get it where it's super, super rich, but it's like fresh at the same time. It's not like heavy and overwhelming.
I think so, definitely. where's my tiny flower tip thing? I think I cut it up. Let's see if I have more.
Well, let me see.
But there is a lot of mint in there already, so I don't think you can see it. Voila.
It's like, thank you so much. I got,
There we go.
it's such a simple soup and so unique for me. It's like,
Yeah.
but does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, how does it taste?
It's hard to describe. It's creamy and yeah, I would say creamy and fresh.
Let's see. How
So I
can
do have a question.
Yeah,
Is there any variations to this soup?
definitely. I've seen some recipes with milk, but this is already creamy enough for me. When you taste it, I think milk will make it a bit more, I don't know. I've
I
tried
feel like
it,
I
but
could put
just-
a little bit of green onions chopped up on top of it, but not
Sure,
very
yeah.
much.
Onions do have the kind of a
Um,
strong flavor on their own, so I don't know.
and I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, like I think I would, but it's very light soup, you know, to have more of a texture.
You know what? Mine could use a little bit more simmering after mint. So Lulu, maybe do like 3 minutes of simmering after mint.
Oh man,
Say that again. How long do you simmer the mint?
I had it for about 2 minutes, maybe do like 3.
Okay.
Because yeah, flavor should be there, but I think mine is a bit too tough.
Okay. Or just
you-
chop it smaller?
Or cut it smaller. I think, yeah, that would give you the same result.
have you ever had what is it? Fried feta or baked feta? I'm trying to describe the taste.
Just
but,
on its own.
yeah. I mean, the soup itself doesn't have much of a feta taste, even though it's really creamy. Unless I get a chunk of feta, I don't get much of a feta taste. It just kind of, in the creamy part, it's just creamy. All right. All right. Anybody
go.
have any final questions or? Thank you for sharing a very unique and simple, but when you told me about the soup, I thought that's going to be really weird, but I really like this. I think
My pleasure.
so. I think what I would do, I tend to make a lot of my own cheese. Like I get
Try drying them.
old milk. No, I'm just thinking, I make a lot of my own cheese. I get old milk, I bring it to 190 degrees, I curd it,
Mhm.
and then I have the whey left over.
Yes.
And I think I could get that whey and chop up some feta just a little bit because it's already cheesy and make this exact soup.
I think it'll be even better.
Yep. I think because I'm usually trying to figure out what to do with that whey and
Mhm.
just chop up a little feta and put it in there. But-
Lulu, I've been keeping herbs in the fridge just like you told me, and it works like magic.
Oh,
Thank
isn't that
you.
cool?
So I cover it with a paper towel and plastic, and it's so good.
It's like hydroponics or something. It's, and you could bring carrots or broccoli, anything that's wilty. It just brings
Yeah.
it back to life. So much so sometimes when I put it in a cup, a plastic
Deepa,
cup, it'll
Can you-
stretch out. Go ahead.
It looks like you have some color in yours.
Yeah, I cut a chili and just put it in there.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
That- It's just like, so added a
How
little
is it? Have you
little
tried it
chili
yet?
to it.
It's really good.
I
really
think lemon rind might be good too, just a
Just a-
lemon rind.
Well,
Or dill.
Right,
if I was
if
using
you
the
are
whey
making it with-
is sour. Yeah.
But if you're
So.
putting some milk in there, do not do lemon because that's gonna make something else.
But just the zest,
doesn't-
not juice, really. The zest.
All
right.
Flavor. Yeah, I mean mint, it would go well with mint for sure.
Cool. Thank you so
So-
much. I appreciate the recipe.
You're
Can we
welcome.
see your soup, Lulu?
Here, you have to bring
Can
it
I
up.
turn this on?
All right,
On
let's
what?
see. Come closer. You see it?
Yeah, looks
I
yummy.
mean, honestly, it looks like a pot of cream of mushroom soup with some parsley on it.
Yeah,
The egg hasn't gone. in.
yeah. The egg's not in there yet. We're still blending the mint. I think we can go ahead and put the egg in and eat.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, you could probably add a little bit of any green to it, like a little parsley or chives, but the mint really gives it that. It balances out the richness of the cheese
Mhm.
with the freshness of the mint, and it just makes, a rich but light tasting soup.
I'm gonna try it
Yes,
as
and it
is
has-
without adding anything to it, so I know.
Mhm.
the
Yeah, so optional salt and butter.
intent. Okay,
All right. Thank you very much.
thank you.
You're welcome.